Parents, some of us don't know where to begin when it comes to addressing spiritual things with our children. So I'm going to read you the 12 laws of the universe because that's a good place to start. We all are spirit, soul, and body. And our spirits are what is immaterial, something on the inside of us that is more than a material world we live in, what we feel on the inside that we can't quite put our finger on. And that spirit in us operates by laws and principles that cannot and will not be changed. So it's good for us to know them. So this gives us a foundation for knowing how life really works. Number one, the law of divine oneness. The law of divine oneness helps us to understand that we live in a world where everything is connected to everything else. Everything we do, say, think, and believe affects others and the universe around us. And the reason for that is because everything is energy. And everything is connected because it all comes from the divine source. Okay? Let's go on. Number two, the law of vibration. The universal law states that everything in the universe moves, vibrates, and travels in circular patterns. The same principles of vibration in physical world apply to our thoughts, feelings, desires, and wills in the etheric world. Each sound, thing, and even thought has its own vibrational frequencies unique unto itself. Now you can look this up because scientists finally catching up with this. Everything has its own vibration, doesn't matter what it is. And we can look at our spiritual texts or religious texts and see some of these principles stated in different ways. Now that was number two. Number three, let's see what that is. Okay, number three, the law of action. The law of action must be applied in order for us to manifest things on earth. Therefore, we must engage in actions that support our thoughts, dreams, emotions, and words. And so anything that we desire, we do have to put some action toward it. And I'm a living witness that even when you're maybe seemingly limited in how much action you can put toward it, when you put your intentions there, like you said your prayers, and you know in your heart, and you're not just guessing and crying and begging and pleading, but you know in your heart that you are heard. When all you got to do is put some action toward that thing. Put what you can toward it. And you will see that thing materialize. This is number four. The universal law states that the law of correspondence, it states that the principles or laws of physics that explain the physical world, energy, light, vibration, and motion, have their corresponding principles in the etheric or universe. As above, so below. As within, so without. That is another principle. And I made a video about teaching children science. When you want to engage with your children's learning, because we don't know what's going on in those schools, we must engage with them. You start with things that are scientific, and science applies to any and everything in life, whether it be your handwriting, the way you move your hand, how it's connected to your brain and all that, your memory, whether it be spiritual things you can't see, but science has shown that there's a vibration. Even if you don't see it, there's a vibration, there's light going on in the background. Okay, so let's go on. Law number five, the law of cause and effect. The universal law states that nothing happens by chance or outside the universal laws. Every action has a reaction or consequence, and we reap what we have sown. What goes around comes around. That's a real thing, but please take it in the positive. So. Put that stuff in the ground that's good. Because life is going to happen, and sometimes you put stuff out there that's not so agreeable or helpful, and you want something to counterbalance that. So sow good seed in your life. Sow helpful seed. Doesn't mean kiss up to everybody. What it means is be kind, show people the same kindness and fairness that you want, and what is right, especially to your children. And you'll see that it does come around in this life. Okay? So that was number 5. And number 6 is the law of compensation. This is fun. This universal law is a law of cause and effect applied to blessings and abundance that are provided for us. The visible effects of our deeds are given to us as gifts, money, inheritances, friendships, and blessings. Look at that. It's sort of like sowing and reaping, but it's saying that there is a reward system in the universe, okay? You're going to get some good stuff if you just keep doing good. And you know, these things were put in place before we were on this planet. These are universal laws. And I would encourage you to talk about these things and teach these to your children. Have them read them and look them up and see what the science is even behind it. Because, you know, our children need a spiritual foundation. So when they're moving through life, they know what's going to happen. They know what the cause and effect will be. They know that they're going to be rewarded. They know that what's inside is also what they can see on the outside in the cosmos. Even the tiniest cell has its own replica, its own image that is can be found in other areas of the universe and of the galaxy. So we want to give our children a good spiritual foundation. It doesn't have to be religious. It can simply be showing them that there are laws that they operate by, and that gives children a sense of security because they know what the playing field is like. Okay, let's talk about number 7, the law of attraction. This universal law demonstrates how we create the things, events, and people that come into our lives. Our thoughts, feelings, words, actions produce energies which in turn attract like energies. Negative energies attract negative energies, and positive energies attract positive energies. And sometimes I can say for myself, I think that maybe like you're blaming the victim, like did the victim really attract somebody doing some harm to them? You know, even though it may not have been intentional, sometimes the energy that they are that's inside of them, whether it was placed in them as a child or it came to them because of some kind of terrible fear, what it does is that it attracts the wrong thing as well. And you know, sometimes those things are coming from past lives as well, is what I understand. But the most important thing to know about this is that even when things that are disagreeable happen to us in this life, we can transmute it. Nothing is put more on us than we can bear. We have the power to transmute it and transform it. And that's what makes us a powerful leader in this life. Each one of us has our test. And even though it may seem like a hard pill to swallow, if we think about it, as we mature as human beings, we will see that the greater picture is working for some cosmic powerful outcome, and that our suffering will be rewarded if we hang in there and transmute that energy. And I wanted to say that because some of these things are hard to swallow, but we have to grow up. I'm speaking to adults right now. We have to grow up and see things from a larger perspective and know that benevolence and love and care is ours if we open up our heart and mind to see it. Number 8, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This universal law states that all persons have within them the power to change the conditions in their lives. Look at that. You have the power to change the conditions in your life. And if you look at the previous laws, you will see why you have the power, right? Okay. Higher vibrations consume and transform lower ones. Thus, each of us can change the energies in our lives by understanding the universal laws and applying the principles in such a way as to affect change. Isn't that empowering? That is so empowering because it tells us that we have the power no matter what situation we're in. When we're able to vibrate at the level that would change the energy completely and attract the right things into our lives, we have the power. We are not powerless. And you know, some time ago, I was given a message for you all that And I should have put it up. I'm going to say it now, that you're not alone, that you're not powerless. You actually have everything you need in you, because it begins with that seed of vibration on the inside. And then it goes out into the universe and attracts what is needed. You're not alone, and you are not powerless. You were given these laws for a reason. The universe is set up like one big system that works if we work it. And that's why these things have been hidden and been obscured through religion, because these things are empowering for the masses of people, not just some religious elite super righteous human beings. Okay. So here's number 9, the law of relativity. This law states that each person will receive a series of problems, tests of initiation, for the purpose of strengthening the light within. So here we go. It's strengthening the light within. There's something to that. I'm going to come back to that. We must consider each of these tests to be a challenge and remain connected to our hearts when proceeding to solve the problems. This law also teaches us to compare our problems to others' problems and put everything into its proper perspective. No matter how bad we perceive our situation to be, there is always someone who is in a worse position. It is all relative. And I want to say that we are to compare, not for the sake of looking down, but the sake of gaining compassion. Okay? All right. And the light within, that goes back to the fact that we are a spark of the Creator, a facet of the light that shines differently depending on which human being or which being it is shining through. Yet it is still that same divine light. And so that light has to be under some kind of pressure or testing in order to grow. And that's just the nature of this life. So these things are so empowering and so encouraging for us and our children. The law of polarity. This universal law states that everything is in a continuum and has an opposite. We can suppress and transform undesirable thoughts by concentrating on the opposite pole. It is the law of mental vibrations. And that was number 10, the law of polarity. Okay. So yes, we do have the power to change our thoughts, and through our will. Doesn't mean the negative things will go away overnight, but once you continually do that, you're going to attract the energy that you're focusing on, the good thoughts that you want, and also you are actually putting in the work, because the law of action, right? You are putting in the action toward what you want to see in your life. So this is, again, you're still able to apply the other laws to this, okay? Number 11, the law of rhythm. The universal law states that everything vibrates and moves to certain rhythms. These rhythms establish seasons, cycles, stages of development, and patterns. Each cycle reflects the regularity of God's universe. And we don't have to say God. We can just say the creators. We can say the universe. Why? Because it is that power that we haven't put a name to. So blanketly saying God is for some is not acceptable. Masters know how to rise above negative parts of a cycle by never getting too excited or allowing negative things to penetrate their consciousness. Okay, so you're actually enabled, or you actually being told that you have the power to keep yourself balanced and regulated so that you're not allowing negativity to penetrate your consciousness. Number 12, the law of gender. This universal law states that everything has its masculine energy and its feminine energy. That is masculine yang and feminine yin. Okay, just like we all have testosterone and testosterone and estrogen in the inside of us, right? These are principles, and that they are the basis for all creation. The spiritual initiate must balance the masculine and feminine energies within herself or himself to become a master and a true creator with the gods. And so I would encourage you to see that when we see too much aggression in the world, that's because the world is imbalanced. There's too much masculine energy there, and it must be tempered with the feminine, with the softer, with the more creative, with the more humanitarian. Okay, and when things get out of balance, we have a mess in this life and on the inside of us. And so I've read these to you so that you can begin to think about how to apply these to your life and remember them. Use these principles so that you will have make some sense of life, what's actually happening in life, and have a sense of peace as you walk through life. This is like a roadmap, a way to walk and a way to think, right? Okay, and so I'm gonna let's see. You can get this particular copy of the laws, the All Universal Laws and Principles Governing Life, compiled by Niall. That's N as in Nancy, Iall Nicholson, and you can find it in other places. But I like the way this was compiled because there is some commentary in the back of this PDF. So I hope that helps you, parents, and run this video back and just listen to it when you're going to sleep. Listen to it in the car and let it just get in your spirit. Don't let there be an excuse as to why you can't have a better handle on life and have more hope for life and have more direction in your life and give that to your children. This is T. Scott.